Hello, I'm Lisa Lord, and in our news tonight, two top officials of the National Union of Public Workers to square off in court. The General Secretary is suing the President for defamation. The search for a permanent home for the National Art Gallery, well, it continues. The BADMC is still doing its part to keep the import bill in check. And in sports, another Carifta qualifier at the Long Course Nationals.
Broadcasting from our studios in the Pine St. Michael, this is CBC News Night, starting now.
Well, in our top story, the two top officials at the island's largest public sector union are heading for a showdown in the court. General Secretary of the National Union of Public Workers, Rosalind Smith, has signaled her intention to take legal action against the President, Akani McDowell, for defamation. And we will have that story a little later in our newscast. Well, a permanent home for the Barbados National Art Gallery is still in the works, but the Minister of Culture and the Creative Economy, John King, admits that completing the project has been, well, a major headache. He has assured the local art community that the Mia Amor Motley-led administration is still committed to it becoming a reality, as we hear from Kishmar Sejus.
Minister of Culture, Creative Economy and Sports John King says government is still considering options for the location of a national art gallery. Once a permanent home is found, space will be accessible to artists.
We expect that this will result in an increased number of galleries which are available to our artists, which will in turn lead to an increased number of exhibitions being held throughout the year. Now, this is one of the things that the Ministry of Culture is seriously, and when I say this, oftentimes you look at his podium like this and you see a politician and he makes a statement and everybody goes, yeah, right, no, we expect that. We heard that before. I want to assure you, ladies and gentlemen, that I have also been on the other side of the fence.
King was speaking as the 9th edition of the Caribbean Fine Art Fair got underway last evening. It is being held at the Courtney Blackman Grand Salle Gallery located in the Central Bank of Barbados in historic Bridgetown. Paintings, sculptures, photography and jewelry are among the work on display from over 40 of the Caribbean's most prolific visual artists. King told those in attendance the creative and cultural sector remains a vital element to delivering economic growth for Barbados. This year, the spotlight is on the late artist Winston Jordan. He was awarded posthumously the Caribbean Luminary of the Arts Award. It was received by his son.
He was so indelible a part of what we see today as crop over and other cultural manifestations. So I just want you to have a look at what we have written in the catalog. The tribute exhibit to him is directly across the street at the Exchange Interactive Center. It will be up for the duration of March through April 3rd. It will be open daily, Monday through Friday.
The Caribbean Fine Art Fair runs until Sunday. Its daily programs include spoken word, fashion, and panel discussions. Kishmar Senjis, CBC News Night.
Well, there continues to be heated discussion about changes allowing CARICOM nationals to move more easily to countries like Barbados. The issue was addressed by the ambassador to CARICOM, David Comachong, at a press conference today. He told reporters movement within the CSME is not a free-for-all, but based on skills. According to him, it is based on the CARICOM Skills National Program.
If you have persons moving under the CARICOM Skill Nationals Program, coming into a host member state to reside and work on an indefinite basis, it would be wrong to cause that person to be separated from his or her spouse, his or her dependent children, his or her dependent parents. So the protocol says that where persons are moving as skilled nationals under the Skilled Nationals Program, that member states will extend certain contingent rights to their spouses, minor children, and if they have any dependent parents, that is parents who are dependent on them.
Well, it appears that the Barbados Agriculture Development Marketing Corporation has been making headway in its quest to help reduce the island's food import bill and get more people to buy local. Over the last few years, the demand for its locally produced flours, cake mixes and sorbets has increased, and it has responded by boosting the output. Word of this from the BADMC's food production manager, Carlton Batson.
So, for instance, we've taken in a tremendous amount of breadfruits and cassava and sweet potato, and we've used those to create value-added products, which we've put on the market under the Carmitas brand. So, therefore, over that same period, there's also been a commensurate increase in the output of these value-added products made by BADMC.
And Mr. Batson revealed plans will soon be rolled out to generate even more growth for that product line.
We want to grow and we want to expand. We're going to be definitely having a stronger push marketing wise, and we will try our best to respond to that in terms of the output of products to meet those demands. We have right now, I can tell you, we have our customers and the different retail outlets are calling us and they want our product, and we're trying our best to get those products to our main retail outlets so that they can be sold and so they can benefit the local Barbadian population.
Meantime, speaking to the media after touring the BADMC at Sewell, Labour Minister Colin Jordan stressed that the value of training for employees in any sector should not be underestimated. He notes that there's often a false belief that development is only required for some categories of workers. He also commended the training practices at that institution.
Too often, people believe that training and education really relate to people who sit behind desks and who do clerical or managerial type work. But people who are peeling and processing and baking want the same feel of having achieved and furthered their education as a person who sits behind a desk. And so having the CVQs and the MVQs allows workers to be able to achieve more by expanding, being trained, and being certified.
And we say hello now to Sharika Griffith in our social media corner to tell us what is trending. Good evening, Sharika.
Good evening, Lisa, and welcome to What's Trending. Now, yesterday we got the news that the U.S. State Department has issued a Level 1 travel advisory for its citizens traveling to Barbados. Level 1 is the lowest risk, but many Barbadians are not happy at all about the development. Let's check out Facebook for some reaction. Ashanda Coward says at work, guests were asking about their safety. She says she did her best to reassure them and let them know they are safe. Ashanda is wondering whether there are advisories for Jamaica, St. Lucia and Trinidad and Tobago, but says this isn't a good look for Barbados. Deborah Moore wants to know why there's all the fuss. It's only a Level 1 advisory after all. She says the danger is no more than what you would expect if you were walking around in cities in the U.S. at night. Dwight Bell says even as a Barbadian, he avoids those areas anyway, and that some of the residents of those same areas are to blame for the stigma that's been attached. And then there's this comment from Anthony Small. He says for sure he definitely intends to avoid the pint. Over to Trinidad and Tobago now, where soca and controversy are often intertwined. Family, a collaboration between Machel Montano, Bungie Garland and Skinny Fabulous, was announced as the Road March winner for Carnival. Savannah Grass by Kez the band took second spot, but it seems many fans are not satisfied with that result, and they are not taking the defeat lying down. An online petition has been launched calling for the song to be given special recognition for next year's Carnival. Soca lovers have been sharing their views about that development. Let's take a look. Now, Chevron says while both songs were good, there are more important things to raise a fuss for and doesn't see the need for a petition. Corey Taylor agrees, saying Trinidadians need to get serious about the real issues going on in the country. He says these should be focused on rather than a title in a seasonal competition. Now, Lucia Jones, however, is very much in support of Savannah Grass coming out on top. We will have a report about that Road March contest later in the news. Now we move on to this inspirational story. This little girl is Kennedy Parker from North Carolina in the U.S. She has spina bifida, a disease which causes leg weakness and even paralysis. However, the 4-year-old is not letting the disease get the best of her. She's decided that despite the ailment, she wants to walk. In other news now, fans of the popular game show Jeopardy were surprised to hear the news earlier this week that host Alice Trebek was battling stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
Just like 50,000 other people in the United States each year, this week I was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer.
This means the cancer has spread to other parts of Trebek's body. Only 3% of people with this diagnosis live more than 5 years.
I'm going to fight this, and I'm going to keep working. I plan to beat the low survival rate statistics for this disease.
Now, the 78-year-old Trebek has hosted Jeopardy since 1984. We certainly wish him all the best. Well, that's all the time we have for What's Trending tonight. Send your comments to our WhatsApp numbers at 233-7388 or 233-7555 and our Facebook and Instagram pages, or to our email at nca@cbc.bb. Remember to keep your comments clean, and we'll see you tomorrow for another look at What's Trending. Now, Lisa, Carnival is still dominating on the social media scene, but pretty soon things are going to switch back to us right here at home, our very own festival. Will 2019 be the year that we finally see you on the road for Kadooment?
I'll be in a costume this year. I promise you.
I certainly look forward to it. I'm going to hold you to that, and I know our listeners are too.
Thank you so much, Sharika. Now we return to that big story where the 2 top officials at the island's largest public sector union are heading for a showdown in the court. General Secretary of the National Union of Public Workers, Rosalind Smith, has signaled her intention to take legal action against President Akani McDowell for defamation. And our Kent Jerson is following that story.
Good evening, Lisa. Now, what's shaping up to be a legal battle stems from a memo from NUPW President Akani McDowell to the union's National Council dated August 28th last year. General Secretary Rosalind Smith is charging that it made several extremely serious, sensational, and irrefutably false statements against her. Now, these include that the National Council had taken a decision to have all documents in respect of Ms. Smith's union-issued credit card use brought to the council, and that at a special meeting there was discussion about many credit card purchases made by her without the council's approval. Another contested statement is that the council instructed Ms. Smith to give an account of her expenditure of just over $13,000. Ms. Smith is charging that Mr. McDowell or his agents released the memo to the media, causing the defamatory statements to be published. As a consequence, Ms. Smith has signaled her intention to sue the Nation Publishing Company and Barbados Today. The NUPW General Secretary is seeking substantial compensation, a public apology, and payments of all her legal costs. Well, I spoke to Mr. McDowell earlier today to get his side of the story. He said as far as he's aware, there is no court action against him, and he's focused on the union's business. Let's take a listen.
I am not aware of any lawsuits against me. I did receive a letter from Ms. Smith's lawyer, and my lawyers have responded substantively to the allegations. And the claims relate to a memo which was issued in the course of my duties as president and chairman of National Council. However, I find it quite interesting that this letter will come weeks before a union election relating to a matter since 2018. I believe that the union has more significant issues to address, and I would like to focus on those issues. Right now, I am focusing on ensuring that the rights of workers are protected.
Now, regarding the response from his lawyers mentioned by Mr. McDowell, well, that reinforced the point that he issued the memo in his capacity as president and chairman of the NUPW's Executive Council, and therefore, on behalf of the union, the lawyers contend that consequently, Mr. McDowell is afforded protection from the claim of defamation under the Trade Union Act. They also argue that the statements cannot be deemed as defamatory because they are true. Now, that's the situation as it stands. Back to you, Lisa.
And thank you so much, as always, Kent. Well, now over in Trinidad and Tobago, another historic moment for regional artists taking part in Carnival. Vincentian Skinny Fabulous made history when he became the first non-Trinidad and Tobago artist to win a road march for his collaboration song Family with Machel Montano and Bunji Garlin. We hear more in this CNC3 report.
Machel Montano, Bunji Garlin and Skinny Fabulous are now Road March family. The trio's collaboration edged out Kester Band, Savannah Grass in what many felt was a race that was too close to call. But after 2 days of revelry, it was Family that reigned supreme, being played 346 times compared to Savannah Grass's 207.
It feels amazing. I'm humbled by the response of the track from the get-go.
It is particularly welcome news for this man, Vincentian Skinny Fabulous, who wrote the infectious tune quite late in the season in December. It's the first time a non-national has copped a road march title.
I went in that studio to even pen anything dealing with family. The furthest thing from my mind was road march, because I mean there's a typical formula for road march which speaks about getting ready, crossing the stage and and this has none of that. It was really not about stage, but it so happens that crossing the stage means so much more when you cross with people you love.
He knew they were onto something historic when the song qualified to contend for the road march title. It's also the first time a trio copped the road march, and it's also Bunji Garlin's first such win.
I'm happy with the fact that 20 years from now, you know, back in 2019, it had a young man from St. Vincent, you know, and it's always good to just be a part of that, something so significant.
Machel Montano received the news while shooting a music video on Maracas Beach today. It's his 10th road march, putting him level with Super Blue.
Thank you to the whole Caribbean.